Hey everybody, Strider is back with another casting. This time it's an NESL premiere. I think this might be the playoffs or the finals, one of the two. Not exactly sure, but we're going to get right into it here. Loading screen looks like it's going by pretty fast. It looks like we're just waiting on Queen Ash and the Corki. So this is going to be TD versus, and I'm not actually sure of the other team's name, but Rambo's on it, and Rambo's pretty good. I like Rambo. He's a good guy. And Delirium. Delirium's awesome. I've seen a few of his games in the past as well. Oh, Kararawr is on it. I didn't know Kararawr was on this team either. So this will be very interesting. I'm actually interested to see this Bloodlord Vladimir and Darius. It's going to be a very bloody game for the blue team. Purple team is going to have a lot of fun with this. So I'm assuming that the blue team will be very bloody and the purple team is going to be very frosty. So they're going to be slowed pretty much the entire game because of Sejuani's, Arctic Assault or Permafrost or Glacial Prism, all that other stuff. And it would be awesome to see Mordekaiser get a Rylai's because his Mace of Spades and his Siphon of Destruction are also pretty funny. Hopefully we'll see some level 1 team fights. But yeah, we have Nunu here with all of his consume, so it'll keep him stay in lane. Blood Boil for the Ezreal, because Ezreal already has a really nice passive attack speed when he does spells. It's very dangerous for Nunu since he's going all by himself, and the flip is going to get... No, he was able to flash away. No, he actually did get flipped. Yeah, that was a great first blood by the Darius, and feeding the Darius is scary already. I'm not sure if Nunu should have face-checked that since his team was not close enough. But that the Singe-like fling from Volibear was... it was an awesome... It was a perfect play, basically. So they chunked him down really heavily, probably with Vlad's transfusion and everything else. So they were just able to get a really good chunk of damage. And then Volibear was able to flash fling him back into his team. But that was... great instincts on Nunu. Nunu was able to get in there and flash out immediately. As soon as he got any form of damage on him, he flashed, and that was amazing. To have that kind of reaction time, it's one of those small things that separates the amazing players from the great players. So it looks like they are going to go in and engage here. Looks like Volibear might go in. No, Corki just can come in. He's going to flash out, but Sejuani is going to go down to Vladimir, actually. So Vladimir picking up that kill, so giving Vladimir and Darius the kills is not going to be good because top lane is a very, very important lane, as top lane typically has the most swing on the way the tides of that game are going to go, and mid lane is very powerful as far as ganking goes. They're able to roam from lane to lane. Unfortunately for mid Vlad, he's not going to be able to do too much, but it looks like we might get a gank up here on top. Yes, it looks like he's going to fling him back, and Darius is going to try to grab him. He's not level 2 yet. Oh, that was a great flash and kill. Darius's passive, his hemorrhage is just too strong. Getting those auto attacks on to his target will add hemorrhage. Oh, he's going to go in for a gank in mid now, too. Wow, he's crazy. This Volibear's just going all over the place. Rambo's just seriously going Rambo style. So, yeah, we do have an auto attack and an ignite going off from Vlad. So now, both top and mid each has... I'm actually going to go back. But, yeah, both top lane and mid lane have 2 kills each. But we are going to go back a little bit. I'm going to take off chat real quick. And then go back, and we'll be able to see what happened with bot. So it looks like Ashe is just kind of hanging out here. It looks like it is a support Ashe, which is very interesting, but she's able to just get the auto crits off. She's able to get that, and Ezreal does blink in there and get some auto attacks, and he does get his piercing. Oh, that was great. Okay, so that was a great double kill for bottom. They really needed that to stay in the game. So I'm just going to try to speed it up here, see if I can get back to real time. Looks like bottom lane is actually going to put some damage on the tower, which is interesting. I kind of didn't expect that. I expected them just to back off pretty much instantaneously for them to buy. Nunu's getting extremely harassed. Nunu might actually go down here pretty soon. It might get dove, but it's not 100% sure. Sejuani's going for their blue. Oh, Volibear's coming in, trying to gank the Mordekaiser, and I think Mordekaiser is going to go down from the gank, and he does go down from the gank. So Vlad picks up another kill. Volibear is going through here. He did proc his passive. Ash did miss that volley, though, which is very, very depressing, because that slow from the Ash would have been great, and then followed up with the Permafrost by Sejuani. It would have been a really, really, really good play. They might have been able to pick it up. Although Vlad was still right there, they still might have been able to pick that one off. Oh, that was a great pull. So the apprehend, I think, is what it is. The apprehend of Darius is not a super long range. It's not, you know, a Nautilus grab, an Amumu bandage toss. It's not a Blitz rocket grab. It's none of those things, but it's an AoE grab. So it can be shorter, but it can also go through creeps, which makes him also very terrifying. I almost kind of want to see him as a support. There's actually some action going on bottom. Oh no! Ash does go down. Luckily, it went to the Janna and nobody like Volibear or Corki, so they were not feeding the proper person. But it's okay because she will be able to get some more extra wards. Volibear comes in for another gank, but he was unable to do so. Sejuani looks like she's pinging for the Vlad. I'm not sure if Mordekaiser is going to be able to go in. They don't have too much CC until Sejuani hits level 6, so I don't see that happening too much. But Volibear might be coming in to get this Mordekaiser again. Yes, he is going to speed himself up, slow him down, and he's going to get ignited and ulted, but does not happen. So Sejuani is able to put on some really nice harass, and it's going to force Vlad to go back. And Janna picked up another kill, although Corki did die. So we're going to go ahead and go back, see if we can catch that one real quick. So Ezreal's just going out there, putting all those a great juke, great blink behind him, and he is going to ignite the Corki right before he dies, picking up the Corki as Janna picks up the kill. And again, it's not the best thing to give Janna the kills in bottom lane, because Corki, he doesn't necessarily need them, but it's very, very, very good to have a fed Corki on your team. Fed Corki is a scary Corki. He's one of the best champions just because he does both AD and AP. So he does ability damage and physical damage, making it... let's see if I can see this. I don't know. I think my client... Oh, okay, they were just hanging out. So yeah, giving him both AP and AD makes it to where he does mixed damage, so it's hard to build defenses for him. So his base damage is pretty high on his Phosphorus Bomb and things like that. And plus he also does have Armor Shred. I'm not exactly sure why Spectator Mode keeps freezing on me, so hopefully we can get this to get fixed as soon as possible. But it's kind of going on and off right now. Yeah, see, just one of those Phosphorus Bombs, just the tip of it hits Ezreal. He doesn't go down a ton, but with enough of those, it can do enough. So it looks like there's some action going up on bottom. He is able to get the True Shot Barrage off. Ashe is chasing down the Corgi. That one little auto attack would have got him. Ashe might be going down, but it looks like she's going to be able to kite. Darius does pick up the Nunu, and Ezreal picks up the Janna. Ashe is just going to throw some volleys over. It does blink over, but they have a ward there, and Vlad is going to flash over there and kill the Ashe, I would assume, and possibly get this Ezreal as well. Yeah, so Ezreal goes down. Sejuani might pick up. Yes, Sejuani picks it up with her ult. Yeah, so her Glacial Prism is able to pick up that kill and also successfully trap them so they cannot chase her. I think that was probably the best move for Sejuani, even though her ult is on an incredibly long cooldown. Being able to just pick up that straggling kill, especially on a Corki, there's no real downsides to killing the Corki, because then he's not going to be in his lane as long to farm up those minions to get the experience. Since their AD carry died, they didn't want... or since Ezreal died, they didn't want to let Corki just free farm bottom, so it was definitely worth it for Sejuani to pick that up. Looks like Vlad is having some issues going up against this Vlad. This Vlad is, yeah, so Mordekaiser is going to die here. It's very, yeah, so Mordekaiser did die. He was able to get his Children of, what is it, Children? know, Children of the Damned, I don't remember what it's called. But he's able to get that off, and Nunu goes down again. Nunu's getting destroyed up top by Darius, and this Volibear is just amazing at picking up kills. He gets the fling, and then he gets a slow, and then he puts on his Thundering Strikes, and the Bear Claws. So Nunu is not enjoying his donuts this morning. Those Bear Claws are just too much for him to handle. That was a great initiation attempt by Ezreal. Unfortunately, it looks like it's freezing up again. I really wish they would fix this particular problem with spectator mode, because it's one of the ones that does happen pretty frequently in some games. Most games it doesn't happen in. It's one of those really difficult ones to do. Ashe might be coming around for the back, getting a volley, but they do ignite, and does go down from the ignite from Ezreal, and Ashe does pick up Janna as well. That was a great combination there. So Sejuani is going to try to pick up their blue, even though Volibear's right there, so it's going to be super dangerous for them to do it. Mordekaiser does go down again. Don't really want to go back to catch that, but that was a lot of action. Mid and top are just getting manhandled, while bottom is kind of staying even. So this Volibear, Rambo on Volibear, is proving to be an extremely powerful ganker. Just going in with his own little speed buff, and then getting the fling. So the speed buff to close the gap, the fling to fling them back towards the teammate, and then the slow after that. It's proving too much for them to handle. And Darius just tanking the tower as much as he wants. He is going for the early Brutalizer, which is really, really cool. I like that idea. And one of the things that a lot of people don't notice is that Brutalizer and Youmuu's Ghostblade, the flat armor pen does not, or it does stack with each other. So they're not unique, so you're able to get both Brutalizer and a Youmuu's, which gives you an insane amount. Oh, that would have been an awesome grab. So Sejuani is able to get out of there and put off her Glacial Prism. It's a really good getaway, but oh, Ashe is able to follow that up. Ezreal doesn't have his ult, but they are able to take down that bottom tower. I don't think Ezreal has his blink up, which he does not quite, his Arcane Shift. Yeah, so he's not able to get that up. They are pinging for the dragon because they really, really want to get that dragon. Ashe and Ezreal both at full health. Mordekaiser's getting chased down. I don't think Mordekaiser's going to be able to get out of this, but Sejuani was able to scare them away even when she doesn't have her ult up. Both teams have this warded, so Red knows that blue team is doing this. Ezreal has that attack speed buff that he's able to give to everybody, so it's going to help them take this down really, really fast. Nunu does have his consume as well, which is also a nice chunk of true damage to minions, so he can do that and smite, and it's basically like having two smites. So it's really, really powerful for neutral monsters like, well, pretty much any of them, but mainly used for Dragon and Baron. It's really, really good for that extra true damage that you deal. So we're going to see a nice push on mid. So even with Red Team's incredible lead as far as kills go, the gold is only about 1,500 difference. Even though they have 7 kills, they've doubled the kills. Ezreal is going to put on some nice harass onto their whole team with that True Shot Barrage. Darius comes in, but he is getting really, really low with all those slows, and he does go down from the Mordekaiser. And Mordekaiser does have the Darius Ghost. I'm not sure why I just sent him off, but that's okay. That's okay. I mean, the Ghosts are typically really powerful, especially when you get them on a champion like an auto attacker. So they really want to try to get that later on in the game. They want to get it on Corki, so that Corki is then on the blue team for a temporary amount of time. That was a great Glacial Prism, and coming in with the Nunu ult, Vlad does put his ult down on a couple people, and Ashe is probably going to die from this. Yes, she does go down. But Vlad also goes down, and that was a pretty decent exchange for the blue team. They were able to exchange 1 for 2, and that one that they exchanged was a support champion, so it's not a huge deal. They were able to pick up their AD carry and their AP carry. This is turning out into a really, really good game. It's going to be super close. Blue team was able to pull ahead with that tower and that 2 for 1 exchange on the kills. So they are closing the gap as far as kills goes. They're down to 5 instead of 7. And it looks like they're going to farm. They're going to go back and buy the items that they need. So you definitely need Mordekaiser to buy, because he doesn't really have any items. All he has is that Hextech Revolver, which he really needed against the Vlad, because Vlad was just putting on way too much damage, way too much burst. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mordekaiser get like Merc Treads or something like that, although they don't really have much CC. That actually, I don't think they have any CC. Yeah, they don't have any CC except for Janna's slow. That would really help with Merc Treads. So he might get a... Yeah, he's going to get a Negatron Cloak. That's the best option that he could have done. Probably end up getting an Abyssal Scepter. Darius is going to pull Sejuani. Sejuani is probably just going to run away from this, not a problem. She didn't even have to use her spell or anything, so she was probably baiting out the dive, because she does have her Glacial Prism that she is able to just stun them both on the tower. And Mordekaiser was there, so he probably would have been able to pick up a kill on whoever the tower aggroed. These ults are insane. Like I said, this is basically Team Frost. If they would have exchanged Mordekaiser for Anivia, that would have been complete Team Frost. Almost. I don't know if there's a... I guess they have Ashe, that's the AD carry, but I don't know if they have... Is there a top one? I can't remember if there's a top lane Frost champion off the top of my head. So they do get rid of that Sanguine Pool from Vlad by Ezreal ulting, because Vlad did not want to take that damage, but that Sanguine Pool does use a percentage of his health. So using that did use quite a bit of health to his own life pool. So Darius flashes in there. He's probably going to try to get that Sejuani, but he does get Glacial Prism, and there's a great team fight. The Thundering Claws are coming out. Ezreal is able to slow down his attack speed, but Corki comes in, misses Foster's bomb with a perfectly timed flash by Zig, and he does get as much damage as he can. He comes in with his ult, and he dies to the hemorrhage. Ashe does go down. Sejuani is able to get away, but... so that was a 4-for-1 exchange with the other team so low. Very, very close fight, but in the end, the red team is able to pull it off. So Darius is going to go top to try to save this tower from... Or not really save it, 'cause it's not too low, but he's going to get some tasty farm off of this. Do a little bit of AoE going on. Yeah, and just chunks down that creep wave. I'm interested to see who they're going to give blue buff to, because I know Ezreal does use a lot of spells all the time, and it is also interesting to see him use the Black Cleaver. I know his Q does proc it, his Mystic Shot does proc it, so he is going to reduce their armor, but they don't have too much auto attackers. I guess they have Ashe, so it's not too bad with that as well, even though Ashe doesn't do too much auto attack damage right now. She was able to sell her Gold Pretends and get 2 Doran's Blades and a Zeal, which is pretty good for her, because she's going to do a little bit more auto attacking, basically just keep whoever's running away slowed. And Zig misses that Mystic Shot. I don't know how that missed. Sometimes skill shots have really interesting hitboxes in this game. I'm not exactly sure, because you've seen the problems with the Lux ult and even the Ashe arrows. A lot of times in spectator mode it looks like it just goes straight through them and goes past them, but it ends up hitting them anyway. You just don't see the animation of it stunning them. It's very, very interesting, so hopefully they get that fixed soon. Sooner rather than later, just for the sake of spectators, because you never know. Sometimes you're like, oh, the arrow looked like it hit, but did it hit? And then you have no idea until you just all of a sudden see them not moving for a little bit. You're like, oh, okay, it must have hit. So Ashe is taking up the jungle. Ashe is so dangerous right now. Just barely missed the Volibear and the Darius. She's able to juke away both of them without even knowing they were there, without her knowing that they were there, they knowing she was there. It was crazy. Israel does a lot of damage and is going to try to pick up the Volibear, but does not get the damage in. Israel is going to probably... Oh, no, actually NintendudeX picking that up with Sejuani. Picking up that kill. It was a great Glacial Prism. They are going to try to take down the second tier tower. That Bloodlust on Ezreal is just going to make him attack like a madman. Ezreal also getting a Wriggles Lantern, which is interesting. They have so much neutral creep killing abilities just from Ezreal having that Wriggles, as well as the Consume from Nunu and the Smite from Sejuani. They're going to be able to tear down. I mean, it's not, you know, percentage-based damage on a lot of the the champions that they have nowadays, like Amumu or Nunu, or not Nunu, Kog'Maw, things like that. Or getting a Madrid's Blood Razor. It's not having any of those, it's just the massive burst at the end, or the lucky chance of the Wriggles proc, is really, really going to keep them in this game. Because if they can coordinate their, true damage on the Baron or on the Dragon, there's pretty much nothing that they can do. So Zig is going to get caught out here. He might be able to blink away. No, he's unable to blink away. But Ash was able to slow them down a little bit. I'm not sure why he flashed there. I'm not sure actually why he went in to begin with, but Ash is able to slow Darius and Vlad, which prevents them from pursuing. And at this point, they're going to try to delay the Baron fight. I don't think Red wants to do the Baron fight because it's only 19 minutes. They don't really have the presence for it, even with Ezreal being dead, because Ezreal still has that True Shot Barrage that can possibly do a lot of damage either to the Dragon or the Baron or their whole team. So they decided just to go for the mid tower, and they're going to tank the second mid tower and see if they can just take it down. But they do decide to back away because Ezreal has respawned, and they're putting a little bit too much presence. That was a nice little Arctic Assault going directly into the wall instead of through the wall on Sejuani's part. But it happens. He just hotshot GG'd himself, I suppose. I guess that's the new terminology for fail skilling over a wall. If you guys haven't seen that video, I highly recommend it. Because he was he was very surprised himself. He's like, how did I not get over the wall? Basically what happened is he was here and he was with Shyvana, and he tried to sneak Baron because the other team had a ward here. So he tried to ult with Shyvana over the wall, and this is a really thin wall, so for some reason he just ulted right here, back onto the ground, and didn't actually go anywhere. So it was pretty amusing, and a lot of people made fun of him. Ashe just barely missed her crystallized arrow. Very depressing. I don't know if they would have been able to pick up a kill off that because Red Team had their whole team there. But it's better to hit an Ashe arrow and get the damage off that they can in that amount of time than not, obviously. They might just go for this top tower, and they're probably Red Team's probably just going to give this up, yeah. It's not worth fighting over outer towers at this point in the game. Because they had their whole team there, even with the Ashe arrow down, they still have a lot of presence. They're going to be able to do a lot of slowing, a lot of... Ezreal does throw out his True Shot Barrage. It just hits Janna. Glacial Prison comes out, and they are going to initiate on this. Sejuani does go in, but Janna does her Monsoon, and she does ult. She does shield that Corki, and the Corki just barely gets away because of that shield. And the Mace of Space just cleaning up shop. Nunu's going down as well. Sejuani's going down. Ezreal does get that kill. Ezreal is going to go down by the Janna, possibly. Though the lifesteal is too strong on Ezreal. That was a great move by Ezreal to be able to do that. So they did a 4 for 3 exchange, and they are able to take out that next tower. But they really want to run away because that Corki can pretty much destroy both of them almost instantly. Ashe almost has her arrow, so she might go for it. But I'm not sure what she's doing. She's all by herself. Ezreal goes hit. Oh, so Ezreal gets her with the Gatling gun, but they are able to give that kill to Ezreal. So it's unfortunate that they had to sacrifice Ashe for that kill, but keeping Corki down for another 23 seconds when Baron is up is always going to be good. Although Volibear is coming in, he might be going for the gank. They did see him. They actually do see him there as well because they both have wards in this bush, which I really like the bush placement. And yeah, Volibear is just going to clean up those little creeps so they know the respawn timer. And the blue team will not. Looks like Sejuani is going to go for the... No, they're going to give it to the Nunu. And Nunu is going AP Nunu, which is incredibly scary because if he gets a full ult off in a bush, it's going to be insane amount of damage. 1,000 magic damage. 1,000 magic damage to everybody if he gets full. So it's insane. If you can have an AP Nunu, his Ice Blast does enough damage just on its own. It does quite a bit, like a chunk. Just chunk down that Vlad, and Vlad, wow, Vlad has a Mesh Eyes with 3 stacks. I surprised I did not see that earlier. I always love people that go mesh eyes. It's one of those things that almost taunts the other team. It almost creates an additional amount of pressure, because some champions you can somewhat ignore or put to the priority of this is our second champion we have to kill, because first champion is typically the AD carry. Okay, we have to kill the AD carry because he does the most damage, blah blah blah. But then you have Vlad in the mix with a Mejai's, so he does insane amounts of steady damage. He does a ton of healing with his Will of the Ancients, and then he also gains more ability power the more people he gets a kill or gets an assist on. So this makes a very tough decision for the blue team, because they don't know who they need to go for first, if they need to go for the Corki or if they need to go for the Vlad. It makes it very, very difficult. So I'm interested to see who they prioritize, but they definitely need to make sure that that Vlad does not get any more stacks of that Mesh Ice. Oh, Vlad does. Oh, he had 9. Sorry, I didn't even see that. Okay, so the Ash Arrow and the Glacial Prism come out at the same time. They finally took down that Vlad, which they really needed to do. They got the what is that? That's gonna bother. Children of the Grave. So they got the Children of the Grave off on the Corki, which is exactly what they wanted to do. Now it's a 4-4 exchange. The only person that was left alive was the Janna, and having the Corki Ghost there is just going to help chunk down this tower like mad. It's also going to be able to give him the ability to tank the tower until his minions get there. Yeah, so he is able to take down this middle inhibitor tower. I'm going to be very... Oh, Janna shield trolled him real hard. So he's going to have to get away really, really quickly, because Janna's Tailwind... Okay, so they're not going to go for it, luckily, but I was a tad bit worried, since he doesn't really have any good attack speed or movement speed buff or slows. There's nothing he can really do. Luckily, he did get that Rylai's like I was suspecting at the beginning. It's going to be very interesting. I will also be interested if he decides to go a Frozen Mallet and go like slow to Kaiser. That would be fun. So all of his auto attacks and all of his spells slow. You will not get away from that slow to Kaiser. It's impossible. Volibear is going to pull the dragon out, which is really good. They do need to get this dragon to stay in this game. Israel thinks he's there. I'm not sure if he knows they're there, but they did see him with that ward, and they're going to back off, and they might try to pinch him in here. Yeah, so Israel's going to go down almost instantly. Oh my gosh, Israel. Oh, Israel just barely missing the missile barrage. Oh, that was fantastic Glacial Prism. That was the one thing that she needed to do. I was surprised the Gatling gun actually did not kill him off that. And then he just juked away and almost got caught up by the Vlad, but then the Rylai's from the Mordekaiser was able to stop him. And Sejuani's taunting, of course, because what kind of champion would you be if you didn't taunt the other team? That's, I think, the first pink ward I have seen at Baron. Oh, does pull Nunu through, and Nunu might actually go down. He's gonna get flung here. No, it doesn't quite get flung. Oh wow, that was really intense. I was very, very surprised that that happened. And of course, Nunu starts to dance outside of that bush, tried to taunt them out of the bush. That's really demoralizing when you get a great play like that. You pull Nunu through the wall and you're just unable to capitalize on it. They were able to burn his flash, which is great. Would have been nice to see if Nunu just flashed right back through the wall, but you know, you can't win all the time, I suppose. So the red team knows that the blue team is going for Baron. They just have no idea when it's going to go down. And he was able to shoot a couple shots through there, and they assumed. Oh wow! Okay, so that didn't quite hit anybody with the true shot barrage by Ezreal, but they were able to take down the Volibear because they were able to disengage enough, slow everybody else down. Janna comes in, and Darius picks up that kill, and Graves picks up a kill too, and it gets the ghost on Vladimir, but it doesn't look like he's doing anything with controlling it. And Ezreal picks up the double kill, getting Corki on the way out, and they're definitely going to push for this inhibitor. A 4-for-2 exchange. They might go for game. I'm not sure if they'll be able to do it. It'll be very, 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 very close. Since they have 26 seconds, they have an Ashe and an Ezreal and a Ghost and Mordekaiser. Okay, so the Ghost is down. Israel has his attack speed buff on everybody that he can give. Yeah, so they're able to take the first tower down. I think Ezreal probably should have just continued to attack the turret. They need to disengage soon because the team is coming up in 3 seconds. It's going to be very, very scary once Corki comes back in there. They are able to take out that tower. They might just be able to burst down this Nexus. Are they going to get... No, they're going to be forced to disengage this fight. Unfortunately, Janna pops Shurelya's. Ashe looks like she's staying behind. Just throw some volleys. Just try to slow him down as much as she can. Yeah, she is successfully able to slow down their whole team. Volley is just so powerful. Just being able to spam volley slows down their whole team, preventing them from getting away, preventing them from initiating. That was a great Ashe arrow getting the Volibear, but the Volibear is able to turn around. Sejuani is going balls deep. She is able to get her Glacial Prism on all 5 of them. Nunu comes in with his ult, is able to pick Darius up. Vlad has to pull out of there. And Corki dies as well. And I believe this is going to be good game. Another 4-for-1 exchange. Janna seems to be the only one that's living every single time they fight. That was an excellent game. Excellent, excellent game. Oh no, Nunu's killing himself. He's crazy. We're gonna see if anybody else decides to tower dive or not. Oh god, no, Zig, don't do it. Do it, Pixel. Yeah, so they're just messing around at this point. They do have 1 second. Oh god, Pixel almost died. So they can pretty much decide to take this and hurt her. Volibear tried to fling him into... Yeah, tried to fling them into the base, but it was unsuccessful. But Sejuani ends up suiciding. That was a fantastic game 1. Way to go, Janna, for being able to get away from a lot of those team fights, but also provide the proper support that she needed to do. I think she was probably one of the MVPs. Volibear had amazing ganks, so Volibear's early ganks were so powerful, and Vlad getting 9-10 stacks or 11 stacks at one point of Mejai's, it was impossible for them to stop him. Once they finally started targeting him a little bit more, they were able to get it. But yeah, we're going to see if we can get into game 2 here pretty soon.